In the mountains of Himachal lies an observatory abandoned after a single night of research. What the astronomers witnessed was never written in any official record. They say the hill is haunted, not by ghosts, but by a silence that swallows sound. I've waited my whole life to see this. The Forgotten Wing. Looks like a storage room. Why was it sealed? Not sealed, quarantined. They believed something inside was watching back. The air. It's heavy. The dust motes, they're not moving. The room was a time capsule, but not of the past. It was a pocket of elsewhere. Constellations no astronomer could identify. Positions that never matched the night sky of Earth. How is that possible? Unless the room was watching a different sky. A sky from another place, or another time. This might tell us. The lead astronomer's personal log. It's coded. For hours, Dr. Verma worked, piecing together the frantic scribbles of a mind on the edge of a terrifying breakthrough. The code wasn't mathematical. It was astronomical, using the alien stars as a key. The serpent's eye aligns with the Weeping Mother. It's a map. Not of the stars, but of the machine that views them. The journal spoke of a device they built, an orrery powered by something they found buried beneath the observatory. They called it the Chronos lens. Ira, over there. It was a complex model of a solar system that didn't exist. It hummed, not with electricity, but with a deep, resonant vibration. This is it, the lens. They weren't just looking. They were trying to connect. As her fingers neared the crystal, a voice, thin and brittle as old paper, echoed from a nearby phonograph. Log entry. Final. We succeeded. The lens opened a window, but the silence on the other side, it's not empty. It learns. It's watching us now. We sealed the wing, not to keep it in, but to keep ourselves from fading, from becoming just an echo in its sky. Don't look too long. The voice faded. The heavy iron door they had entered through was no longer there, only a wall of cold, silent stone. Scene start mech. Hilltop Observatory. Dusk. 0R030. Introduction. A slow, panning shot reveals the skeletal remains of an abandoned observatory perched on a remote hilltop. The setting sun paints the sky in bruised shades of purple and orange, and a low-hanging mist clings to the ground, swirling around the base of the decaying structure. The wind whispers through the skeletal branches of withered trees, rustling piles of dead leaves that have gathered against the weathered stone walls. A close-up shot focuses on the observatory's dome, its metallic plates corroded and gaping open to the elements. Another shot lingers on the crumbling stonework, worn smooth by decades of harsh weather. Against this fading light, two silhouettes appear, their determined strides breaking the stillness. This is the team: Dr. Ira Verma, a seasoned archaeoastronomer, and Samar, her skeptical camera operator. Int Observatory, sealed wing, continuous. 231 T115, the entry. Inside the main hall, shadows stretch long and distorted. Ira, guided by a faded schematic, leads Samar toward a forgotten wing of the building. They stop before a heavy wooden door, its surface bearing the faint outlines of strange, unfamiliar symbols. A close-up reveals an intricate lock, a masterpiece of ancient, non-standard mechanics, covered in a thick layer of dust and rust. Ira produces a set of specialized tools, and the tense process of opening the seal begins. The sound design amplifies every creak of straining wood, every scrape of metal against stone, building an atmosphere of anxious anticipation. With a final, groaning shudder, the lock gives way. The door swings inward, revealing a wall of absolute blackness. As they raise their flashlights, a storm of dust motes erupts, dancing like tiny sprites in the probing beams of light. Int. Sealed room, continuous. 1 tuned 16 to 230. The discovery. The team steps cautiously into the sealed room, their flashlight beams cutting through the gloom. The air is cold and utterly still. They reveal a scene frozen in time, desks, shelves, and curious artifacts, all draped in thick silvery cobwebs. Ira's light lands on a stack of dusty, parchment-like journals. She carefully picks one up, its leather cover cracking under her touch. Close-ups show handwritten entries, the ink faded but legible. Animated text overlays appear on screen, whispering phrases like, "The sky is wrong," and "Time bends at the celestial pole." Samar pans his camera over to a large table where a strange star map is unfurled. As Ira smooths it out, visual effects overlay its impossible celestial alignments onto a view of the night sky, showing constellations that don't exist and planetary orbits that defy gravity. Their lights then catch other bizarre objects. A complex orrery whose model planets move in a bizarre, non-heliocentric pattern, and a large brass telescope aimed at a seemingly blank patch of space. In sealed room continuous. 231-330. The DUI phenomenon. At the back of the room, Ira discovers a massive grandfather-style pendulum clock, its wooden case covered in a fine layer of dust. The camera focuses on its ornate face, the hands frozen, then cuts to the heavy brass pendulum. It is swinging, but at an unnaturally slow, hypnotic pace. Samar, his skepticism finally cracking, holds his digital watch up next to it. The stark contrast is jarring. The seconds on his watch tick by normally, while the pendulum seems to move through molasses. A look of profound unease crosses his face. To test her theory, Ira picks up a quill pen from a nearby desk and lets it drop. It falls in noticeable slow motion, drifting downward like a feather in a vacuum. Stunned, Samar records everything, his camera movements becoming slightly less steady, betraying his growing fear. XT. Hilltop Observatory night. 3:31 to 4:2 hour. Conclusion. A shot from outside shows that the last vestiges of twilight have vanished, plunging the hilltop into complete darkness. A sense of urgency fills the room. With the phenomenon growing more pronounced, Ira makes the difficult decision to retreat. They reluctantly back out of the room, casting one last bewildered look at the impossible space they've discovered. Working together, they push the heavy door shut and reseal it, the final click of the lock echoing in the sudden silence. The camera holds on the sealed door, then begins a long, slow zoom out, leaving the mystery undisturbed and contained. Just as the screen fades to black, a single, resonant chime is heard from within the sealed room, impossibly slow and deep. Scene end.